Thank you. Yes, I wanted just to bring a very individual, personal experience as designer, as architect, because I fully support what Christoph said. I fully agree, and I understand that we need to step ahead to understand better what design is, what a designer should feel to be inside himself. And my experience is is almost 50 years long experience. So I'm coming from the time of Memphis that I've seen there in this podium there, to our time today, working for many different companies with many different requests and commitments. Yes, first of all, I am architect and designer, and this was already strange 50 years ago. Now I feel it's more and more strange, but more and more a strength. Because to be architect and designer, in some way, you are better in the condition to bring the human need at the center of what you do. And this is quite helpful. And we forget so many times that at the end of the story, we have to do something helpful, comfortable, successful, without using too many resources for ourselves, to support the life that we have inside ourselves. A big danger that I feel is that we are no longer focusing on life, but we are focusing on something that reduces the meaning of life. And this is a danger. So I became a professor because I don't know why. Once they called me and they asked me if I wanted to be designer, if I wanted to be professor of interior design. And I said, yes, no, maybe not. But at the end, I accepted, and now I'm very happy about that. Very, very happy, because really, this topic today, to understand what design is the real meaning of doing design. Yes, even if I was reluctant, I have to admit that I had a lot of benefits from being professor. First of all, I understood that I had something to put in order inside my mind before claiming to transfer to somebody else. But the most important was that in the school, I'm forced to give a very immediate, very a judgment immediately without hesitating. You know, in the office or with a client, if they ask you what do you think about that, or I say, yes, I will think about, let me think. But the student doesn't accept that. He wants to know immediately if what he did is right or wrong, if his strategy is correct or just something silly. So I have to say something else. After tomorrow, I will retire officially as a professor, because in Italy, when you get 70, you have to retire. So I'm no longer professor in 3 days. Probably this is the last time that I'm speaking publicly as a professor. And yes, there's so many changes from the beginning of my professional life to today that I tried to find out 3 possible focus, 3 possible places where to find inspirations that they were valuable at the time in which I began, and is valuable even today. As first, I will say that the most important inspiration source is dialogue. dialogue between people, dialogue between institutions, dialogue between disciplines. Everything is dialogue, and everything is in dialogue. We are connected in no way, so we have to take advantage of this dialogue, and I'm sure for myself, and I suggest everybody, keep the dialogue at the center of any inspirational research. Today, the most important dialogue is between knowledge and responsibility. We have a lot of knowledge, much more than ever, but much more responsibility, much more than ever. And to be able to put in dialogue these two main attitudes, to look for knowledge. And when you look for knowledge, you are searching for the truth, for what is really truth. And the responsibility, that is the attitude that when you look for what is good, for what is much better. This is the most important dialogue, where you can find a lot of wonderful inspirations. But another important secret for getting inspirations is to accept deviations. Deviations is a fantastic, very dangerous, obviously, very, very dangerous. But deviation is the way to look for something. If you want really to be innovative, you have to go where nobody else has been. And yes, you can make horrible mistakes, but the problem today is not to do mistakes, is to be ready to repair to the mistakes immediately, to understand immediately that you did a mistake. And because every mistake we do is a step in our competence. Deviation today is some way is very dangerous, but also very easy, because we do not have a linear path in our procedure as we had in the past. Our way of thinking is no longer the way of thinking where you pose a problem and you solve the problem. Because we are used to the net, to the web. The web is a way of working, stepping from one position to another one, and it's much more about jumping than not walking. It's wandering more than not driving in one way. And this way is conscious or unconsciously we do, because all of us, we use the web continuously. We know that we have a lot to discover in the web, and we know that in the web we have a kind of subtle excitement to find out in this ocean of information, to find out something that is exciting for ourselves and can be a surprise for somebody else. Can be a surprise to be moved to other people. The last source of inspirations is very simply life, our life. I think that design and the research about designing design is very helpful on this regard. Is that design is a philosophy, is a way to apply a philosophy to life. Every designer has to have its own philosophy and has to be able to bring his philosophy to the reality. Life is fundamental. To be able to read life and to have his own philosophy of life is fundamental today, because as designer you do not design only the objects, you do not design only the products, but you design also the behavior around the products. And you insert in the product the behavior that the consumer will use in your products. And so we have the social responsibility is very much passing through the shape of the design itself, the material choice. All the most banal step in the design becomes a much important step in the moment in which you think that this will become an attitude, a way of behaving. So I think that the best way to obtain a convincing curriculum is to ask new designer enthusiasm for the future world, honesty in identifying true needs, ability to manage their own and other feelings. That is called the emotional driving, emotional intelligence, and especially to be able to transfer untangible concept in tangible objects. To do like that, in my I would say 12, 15 years, I used to bring to my students not a typological issue, but one word. And I invited all my students, that are around 60 students every year, 20 from China area, 20 from all over the world, and 20 from Italy. I gave them one word that is a concept, something like, very abstract, something like misery, eros, diversity, chaos, silence, rebellion, freedom. And I gave the students to think about this concept, this intangible concept. And I was facing people totally disorientated, to think about this topic and to transfer this topic in reality, to transfer this topic in something visible, understandable, transferable. And was very, just to tell you, my Chinese friends, they didn't understand the meaning of the word rebellion. No way. I spent 6 months to ask them to understand that if you want to create something new, you have to rebel against something that is already there. In any case, if you wanted to say something about this work, you have to look in teaching is learning, one word, teaching is learning, the Lucchi, and you will find all this the documentation about this work. Yes, okay, I don't think that what I did is applicable only to the profession of the designer. There are many other disciplines that probably can take advantage of that. But I think that really, if we want to bring values in design, we have to help young people, young generations that are teaching to my generation so much, but we have to help them to deal with abstract concepts. Thank you.